What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Everybody loves In the Heights, the new musical from the mind of Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's opening in theaters. It's streaming on HBO Max. Everybody loves a good musical. I hate musicals. What did I think of this one? Let's find out. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Gerald here with you. Another rapid reaction movie review. I just got done watching In the Heights on HBO Max. It just came out today as we are sitting here. And perhaps I scared you a little bit in my intro. Maybe? I'm not a musicals guy. Let's talk about this one, though, In the Heights. The story of Usnavi, a bodega owner who has mixed feelings about closing his store and retiring to the Dominican Republic or staying in his hometown, New York City, and the Washington Heights. That's the letterboxd synopsis of In the Heights, and it is a bit simplified for what this movie is. Let me just get it out of the way up front and let you know I enjoyed this movie, guys. There's about 100,000 musicals from Broadway or off-Broadway that have been converted into movies and films on the big screen, and I do not like the vast majority of them. I am not what would be considered a musicals guy. I just don't gravitate towards that type of storytelling unless it's on the stage. But seeing them on the big screen, I just don't tend to like them. There's a few exceptions. Most notably, La La Land is one of my favorite movies of the last decade. Although I don't think La La Land was converted from a stage musical to screen. I think it premiered on the screen. I'm not sure about that, so I apologize. But generally speaking, I don't like movie musicals. I do like La La Land. I also liked In the Heights. In the Heights is a movie that deals with Usnavi and his story, but it also has the story of many other characters in the film. We get to meet Vanessa, played beautifully by Melissa Barrera, a young actress who's going to be in the upcoming Scream 5 next year. So I've seen her name thrown about, being that I love horror. We also get Corey Hawkins in this film as Benny, Leslie Grace as his love interest Nina, and a lot of other great characters. Abuela is played beautifully by the elder Hispanic actress Olga Merediz. And we also, of course, see a familiar face in Jimmy Smits as Nina's father, Kevin, a local business owner in the Heights. I came to a realization about this movie and about my kind of relationship with the movie musical. And that realization is, if I have not seen the Broadway production on the stage, and my first introduction to it is as a movie, I mentioned La La Land earlier, I tend to like it. That tends to be the case with a lot of movie musicals that I have ended up enjoying, which they are few and far between. Some other notable movie musicals that I enjoy are classics like Singing in the Rain and My Fair Lady, which of course I never saw the Broadway iterations of those films. And then more kind of modern, like Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, I really liked. I never got an opportunity to see that on the stage. My introduction to seeing that story play out visually was in Tim Burton's movie. So here we have In the Heights, right? And it's a film that I didn't know anything about aside from just all the hype that's been surrounding it. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who of course did Hamilton. I just prefer to see these musicals on the stage because you have the dialogue and the relationships between characters. But like in the case of In the Heights, they'll be in a convenience store talking to each other and they'll start singing what they're talking about. Now, I get the art form of the musical, but when you take it from actors performing live in front of an audience on a stage and you put it into a Hollywood production as a movie, it just always kind of seems strange to me, and I have a hard time connecting to them just bursting out into song, bursting out into dance, as opposed to just having a conversation with each other. I don't know. I guess I'm weird. But if I have never seen that stage production and I'm seeing it on the screen for the first time, I tend to enjoy it, and that was the case with In the Heights. Now, some of my favorite things, my pros list for this movie is the choreography. The choreography and the dance sequences, particularly the song and dance, are amazing. I don't have the name of the choreographers that were involved in this movie. I just know that John Chu's the director. I really like him. He directed a film that I wasn't too hot on, but it was a beautiful movie to look at from a choreography and cinematography standpoint called Crazy Rich Asians a few years ago. and it has that colorful, boisterous, vibrant look. So we have that within the Heights too. Some of the things I love about it are the music, are the songs. When they break off from singing to each other and dancing in the streets and they're kind of having their dialogue and they're playing out these dramatic scenes, it didn't connect as well with me. That's where In the Heights fell a little bit flatter. It was much more fun, much more energetic, much more exciting for me as a viewer when they were doing these highly produced, wonderfully choreographed numbers in the movie. I point to the opening scene, the first act of the film, with Usnavi going into his bodega, meeting his cousin there, that opening number. Then the entire cast ends up dancing in the street. There's like 100 people dancing in the street there in the Heights, in Washington Heights. And then later, about halfway through the film, we get a similar dance sequence play out at the local pool, at the community pool. It's outdoors, it's sun, everybody's having a great time. It's a choreographed dance number in a swimming pool with, again, about 100 people. It's amazing that they're able to accomplish this. And I just compare it to La La Land in that way because there were a lot of dance numbers in that movie, like the opening sequence on the freeway where they had to stop traffic in LA and get all these extras, again, probably close to 100 people. I also love the performances in the movie, specifically of Anthony Ramos. He did an amazing job here. You know, he's an actor that's kind of up and coming that I didn't know a ton about prior to Hamilton, because of course he was in Hamilton. He showed up in a couple other movies that I liked. A Star is Born a couple years ago with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. He was in that. He was in Godzilla King of the Monsters, had kind of a small role. So I've seen him kind of popping up here and there. But this is his coming out party, at least from a cinematic perspective, a movie perspective, In the Heights. He gives a great performance. He's obviously a well-trained kind of double threat. He can sing, he can dance, triple threat. He can sing, he can dance, and can obviously act. And he's really showing us that here because it's a lead role for him. You know, I mentioned Star is Born and Godzilla. He was definitely a supporting kind of like sub role in those movies that wasn't pivotal to the plot. He is the center of this movie, and his struggle and story is kind of what we are following through his eyes and through his perspective. He gives a very emotional performance, I thought, especially towards the last act of the film when some things play out with some important characters in the movie and people that are important to him. And the way that plays out, the way the kind of fate of Washington Heights develops over the course of this film, he really nailed it in terms of not only the fun, energetic, kind of hip like dancing routines that we saw, but also the emotional dialogue and portrayal of this character that he was able to convey in the last act of the movie. I was really impressed with. Things I didn't necessarily like within the Heights that didn't really connect to me, that'll bring my rating down just a smidge, is that it's too long. The movie is nearly 2.5 hours long, and again, I hate to beat a dead horse here, but as a stage show, that works. You have an intermission, you go to the theater, you expect it to be a 2.5, 3 hour night. It's like 1.5 hours, you get an intermission, you come back, you finish it up. That's kind of expected. In a movie-going experience, you know, the story that was kind of playing out, and I'm trying not to spoil it from a plot perspective, but it gets repetitive. Kind of the theme of the movie gets repetitive in a movie format. It's like, okay, we understand what you're trying to overcome. We understand what your goal is, what your accomplishments are. Each song kind of plays to that in some way or another. There's a couple like one-off fun numbers, but mostly it's all just kind of playing to that point and to that goal of Usnavi and his main people around him. So it gets a little repetitive and it drags on a little too much. They could have definitely wrapped this movie up under 2 hours, you know, maybe cut a couple songs if you have to. With that being said, I love the music in this movie. I feel like this is a soundtrack that I would actually play. You know, this is an unpopular opinion, but I prefer the soundtrack to Hamilton over the show/movie Hamilton. I love the music in that one as well, and I love the music in the Heights. So you shave a little bit of time off of it, and you take a little bit of the extra dialogue out of it and just kind of focus on the musical aspect of it, which I can't believe I'm saying because I'm not a musicals guy, as I led with in my intro. Then I think you have a better movie here. But I did enjoy it, and I think everyone should seek it out. I think it's also a perfect summertime big screen movie. You know, we had A Quiet Place a couple weeks ago, which is similar in that way. It's a great movie to enjoy with a crowd of people. And I love the celebration of Hispanic culture in this movie. I don't want to fail to mention that. That is extremely important because, unfortunately, we don't have enough of these like minority cast across the board. I mean, this is a 90%, 95% Latino Hispanic cast. Everybody in here is kind of associated to the material. And John Chu's known for that now because he did that a few years ago with Crazy Rich Asians. It was the same concept from like an Asian perspective. So the entire cast was Asian or Asian American, and they were connected to that story. And we have that playing out here from a Hispanic perspective, and I think it's very important. I love it. I mentioned this on my Oscars prediction video that I think this stands a very good chance to get nominated for Best Picture. And now seeing the movie, I stand by that because the Academy, and first of all, they love musicals. I mean, let's be real here. And second of all, it's going to make them feel good. It's a feel-good story. It's a story about family, about culture, about home, about the people you love. And it really is a feel-good movie. And that is coming from someone, me, that does not like these types of movies. And I really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to rewatch it actually with my family. But I recommend In the Heights, guys. And there you see my score on the screen, 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving In the Heights 3.5. There you see my letterbox. Please follow me over there. My information for that is down below. Are you going to check it out this weekend? Let me know below in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time in the garage.